Dear students, I welcome you back in the lecture series of Computer Architecture and Organization, that is KCS 302. We have started Unit 4, that is Unit of Memory. Here in this series, we are with our Lecture 3. In the Lecture 3, we will discuss about some read-only memories, that is ROM memories. Thereafter, we will discuss something regarding cache memory, that is cache hit, cache miss, the locality of reference, that is the principle of locality, into which we will discuss how the things, how the contents are local to each other, temporal to each other, spatial to each other. These are the different types of the locality of reference, or simply, in other words, we can say principle of locality. Similarly, we will discuss some page replacement algorithms which are being required for replacing the page from the cache memory. These are called as first in, first out, or least recent use algorithms. So let us start with the lecture. Following are the contents of this lecture. We will discuss read-only memories, cache memory, locality of reference, and the page replacement algorithm in the last. As far as read-only memories is concerned, you might be aware with the type of memory. What type of memory are these? These are called as self-executable memories, which are being required for executing, for rebooting the system, for required for self-execution. Again, we can say these are the memories which are called as control memory. Control means the system control. Where when is the system control is required? When some initiation is being required, when some initiality of the system, when we say the system is to be boot or to be start, then such type of memories are being required. ROM is used for storing programs that are permanently resident in the computer and for tables of the constant that do not change in the value once the production of the computer is completed. Means these are being manufactured, these are being you can say organized at the time of computer is manufactured or at the time of the production of the computer. However, we can say in nowadays we are having different type of read-only memories, which are you can say programmable read-only memory, erasable programmable read-only memory. So nowadays we can edit the ROM as well with some limitations, with some set of conditions. However, in the core value, the core you can say architecture, the core feature of ROM is that these are type of permanent memories, or simply we can say these are the permanently resident memory of the computer, which are called as self-executable, having the control programs into it. The ROM portion of the memory is needed for storing an initial program, which is called a bootstrap loader. Simply in this figure, you can see here we are having a ROM cell which is being connected with the word line with some transistor over here, which is not connected to store A and connected to store 0. If it is being connected with the ground, then it will it will give the value 0. Otherwise, it will give the value 1. So this is the basic you can say fundamental architecture of the ROM, where however multiple ROM cells are being required to complete the complete ROM memory. Otherwise, this is the basic one unit cell, or you can say one unit of the complete ROM memory. As far as read-only memory, I already told you read-only memories are called as permanent memories. But on the same time, we can't say these are the permanent. These are also called as erasable programs, programmable or erasable programmable. So these are the different types of ROM. These are simply you can say ROM, PROM, programmable ROM. EPROM means erasable programmable ROM. EPROM can be programmed and erased electrically. So I feel you have a brief idea. You might have some idea. You have studied these terms in your previous semesters. But as far as your syllabus is concerned, these are the topics which is to be covered again. So I'm repeating these contents over here in this lecture. I feel you are very much aware with the terms, and you know how the programmable ROM are there, how their working is, what is the meaning of electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, EEPROM. Similarly, we are having the flash memory. Here in the flash memory, this is the memory where only possible to write an entire block of the cells, but read the contents of a single cell. These are the low power consumption memories which are used in portable equipments. What type of memories are there? These are generally used, which are the equipment which deals with the portability. Portability means the instruments which are mobile, which move from here and there, carry to easy to carry. These type of memory are used into this type of equipments. As far as cache memory is concerned, if the active portion, I have already discussed about the cache memory. Cache memory are smaller, faster memory which are being placed in between the processor and the system memory. If the active portion of the program and the data are placed in the fast small memory, the average memory access time can be reduced, thus reducing the total execution time of the program. Such a fast small memory is referred to as cache memory. The cache is the fastest component in the memory hierarchy and approaches the speed of CPU component. When CPU needs to access memory, the cache is examined on the basis of locality of reference, or simply you can say principle of locality. There are three types of principle of locality. Here I have mentioned two, but third one is again there, that is called a sequential locality. We are having three type of locality of references. Some of the questions asked in the previous year questions, many of the time it is being asked that what is the locality of reference means and what are the its type. The question can again come with the name, what are the principle of locality. So don't be confused with the locality of reference and the principle of locality. These are the two terms having the same meaning. So locality of reference or principle of locality are of three types, that is temporal, spatial and sequential. In the to make sorry to make this complete information easy to you, I have explained, I have taken a snapshot of some of the book for which we'll discuss, into which we will discuss these type of locality of references like temporal and spatial and sequential. We will discuss in the next to next slide into this lecture only. So this is regarding all about the cache memory is. We are having, as I told you, cache memory is a memory which lies in between the processor and the main memory. So here, as the diagram shows, this is the cache memory, this is the processor, and this is the main memory. How is the use? How we can use the cache memory? Processor issue a read request. Processor issue a read request. A block of words is transferred from the main memory. From the main memory, a word, a block, or the data or instruction will be given to the processor along with a copy of the to the cache. Main memory to cache, one word at a time. Subsequent reference to the data in this block of word are found in the cache. At any given time, only some blocks in the main memory are held in the cache. Which blocks in the main memory are in the cache is determined, which are called by, which can be known by mapping function. By mapping function, some functions are there which map the content is there available or not available, which it is being done by the mapping functions. When the cache is full and a block of word need to be transferred, means the cache is full and some data, new data is to be entered, new data is to be stored into the cache memory, then the older data which was already there into the cache has to be transferred or has to be replaced. So on that time, some replacement algorithms are being required. So we will also study in this lecture only two different types of replacement algorithms. Here we will discuss the principle of locality. We have discussed already. It was a term we have discussed in the brief, but in the detail, here we will discuss the principle of locality. For your simplicity to understand the term very easily, I have taken the snapshot of a book which will discuss, which will give you the brief idea of the all three types. These are the temporal locality, spatial locality, and the sequential locality. Temporal locality. If at one point in time a particular memory location is referred, then it is likely that the same location will be referred or referenced again in the near future. What it means? It says if you have access some value, I will say, for example, you are when you go for your external examination of practical viva. I'm taking a very simple example so that you can understand the topic very easily. For example, some external examiner is there present into the lab, and he ask you that four people come all together. I will take the viva of four people. You all four, roll number 1, 2, 3, 4 come. You are sitting in front of the examiner. The examiner is asking some question to the roll number 1, then to 3 or 2 or 4, anyone. So it are the if he is asking some question to some person having roll number 2, then there are the chances, then it there are chances that it will ask the question, next question, to the 2 again. Means there are many more chances to ask the same question or next question, next instruction to the same person to which you are asking. For example, if I am saying how many type of locality of references are there to one some student, then I will ask define temporal one. I can ask define sequential one. There are the chances, the probability is higher to the person to whom I am asking this question. So these type of methods are the learning methods. However, these are not always true, but these are the learning method onto which we work on the probability. Probability means some method on which we can predict to whom the next question will be asked or what type of data may be asked by the processor in the next cycle of instruction. In other words, when it comes to recently referenced item, whether it is instruction or a data, are likely to be referenced again in the near future. This is often caused by special program constructor such as iterative loops, process stack. Thus, temporal locality tends to the cluster the access in the recently used areas. In other words, if I have called, say example, block A, block B, block C, or block D in the cache memory, then there are chances that I may ask block B, or I may ask block A, or I may ask block C in the near future of the references of the data. Understand? This is the second type is of spatial locality. If a particular memory location is referenced at a particular time t, then it is likely that nearby memory locations will be transferred or will be referenced in the near future. For example, some simply I can take the example of the corona, where we have used the maximum algorithms of tracing the corona. Maximum algorithm, I am repeating, the maximum algorithms of tracing the corona are working on the spatial locality. For example, if a person is infected with the corona, then there are more chances to be affected by corona for other people who are in touch with that person. For example, if a house number 2 is if a person living in house number 2 is infected with corona, there are chances to a person living in the house number 3 or house number 1 most likely to be infected with the corona. These type of locality, these type of referenced are called as spatial locality. In other words, I'm repeating again, if a particular memory location is referenced at a particular time, then it is likely that nearby memory location. For example, I'm accessing the location 9, then there are the chances that I may ask the location 8 or I may ask the location 10. So this is called as spatial locality. For example, operation on the table or array, you can see if we are working with the array, if we are working on a table, then the operations on table or array involve access of certain cluster area in the address space. Now the third one is sequential locality. Sequential locality is the special case of spatial locality. It is a type of spatial locality. It occurs when data elements are arranged and accessed linearly. If I have the data content, if I have the data elements which are arranged in some way, some manner, whether ascending or descending in a linear manner, then the typical program, the execution of instruction follow a sequential order unless branch instruction create a out of order execution. In other words, if I am working with a program, then I am going line by line reading, line 1, line 2, line 3. Till what moment I will go line wise line or sequentially till I have out of order execution. If there is no loop, if there is no jump loop, if there is no go to loop, till that instruction I will go sequentially. So these are type of sequential locality, and it has been written over here that you read this line from where my cursor is going on. In typical programs, the execution of instructions follow a sequential order. They follow a sequential order. कब तक? Till unless branch instructions. Branch instructions means like go to this place, jump to this place. These are type of called as branch instructions, unless branch instruction create a out of order execution. So these type of locality is called as sequential locality. Now this is the very simple interesting diagram, very beautiful diagram over here. We are having a CPU, a main memory and a cache memory. These are called as cache hit, this is called as cache miss. If if CPU is looking for a information, looking for a data, if it is being found in the cache, then it is called as the cache hit. If it is not found in the cache, then it will be called as cache miss. In this case, the content from the main memory will be accessed. It will be retrieved from the main memory. A copy of this will go to CPU and another copy will go to the cache memory for the newer future references. So this is the process how the CPU, cache and memory works. Now the basic characteristics of cache memory is its fast access time. Therefore, very little or no time must be wasted when searching the words in the cache memory. Different type of mapping schemes, different type of mapping process are being used by required for cache memory. Which these are the three types. These are associative mapping, these are direct mapping, set associative mapping. So for the detail, you have to go some books or in some doubt class. We will clear these associative mapping, direct mapping, and set associative mapping. But it's my advice to you that before coming into a doubt class or any other lecture, completing these three types of the mapping, you must take a go through from any of the book of your choice. Before, if you will not learn, if you will not go through with these mapping schemes by your own before the lecture in a doubt class or any theory class, you will not get these type of mappings. Now it comes the replacement algorithm. First of all, before learning, before going through any replacement algorithm, we will study why we need replacement algorithms. I already told you, cache is a smaller, faster memory. The data which is being required, which is to be worked by the processor, must be there into the cache memory. So the size is again a crunch, size is again a issue, concern of the memory when we are dealing with the cache memory. We can't keep every of the data into the cache memory. The data which is not in use, but the data which has no requirement in the future, we replace that particular data. The cache full, if the cache is full, then we have to store the new data into the cache memory. We have to store the new data into the cache memory, and for that particular for that particular space, we have to delete the information, or we have to replace the information from cache memory, and so we required replacement algorithms. There are two types of replacement algorithms. One is your FIFO and another your LRU. What is FIFO? Is first in, first out. What is LRU? It is least recent used. So we can understand this by a very simple example. I will use the note feature to make the content clear. So these are the some content has been covered with this ribbon. I will show you. This is the replacement algorithm has been written over here. Say example, this is the first replacement algorithm, which is called as first in, first out. Here CPU reference has been shown by this line. These are the information whether the cache was missed or the cache was hit. This is the factorial representation of the cache memory. You have to listen very carefully to understand. It's a very simple, easy algorithm, but your concentration is being required. You see CPU reference. For example, here CPU wants block A. Listen again. At the initial state, the cache memory is empty. Means there is no block into the cache, no memory block, no data or information is there into the cache memory. So into this particular process, we are having the CPU required block A. Here CPU required block A, but the cache memory is free, means the cache memory is blank. So no data is there. It is called as cache miss. Means the CPU don't find any memory word over here into this place. So it is called as cache miss. So the content, the block, data block is being placed, is being stored into the cache, and the CPU is working on this particular block. Now the CPU required in the second cycle, CPU required block B, but it was also not present into the cache memory. So again it is called as cache miss. The block B will be stored into the cache. As we know, a copy of that particular block which is being required by the processor will be placed into the cache memory, and CPU will work with that block of information into the main memory. So here CPU is working with block B into the main memory, that is RAM, and copy of that block is being placed into the cache memory. Now again comes to the block C. Block C, no, it was not available with the cache memory. So again cache miss. The copy of C is being stored into the cache memory, and CPU is working with the block C along with the RAM, means main memory. Now it comes to A. CPU required block A. As we know, A was stored into the cache memory, and it was found, so it is called as a cache hit. The content from the cache memory was referred by CPU, and the data and the working is being done with the CPU with block A available into the cache. So it is called as cache hit. Now again come to the next block, which is being required by the CPU reference. It required now the data, the block is required as D. D block is required, but the D was not present into the cache memory here. So it is called as cache miss. The data was stored into the cache memory. The D block is being stored into the cache memory, and it was working was done with the cache memory here only. The reference is being done, the CPU reference is being done over here, and the CPU will work along with the RAM memory on the block D, and it is called here, it is called as miss because it was not found into the cache memory. Now comes to the E. Same is the case of the E, but you have to see over here. This is the learning moment where you have to focus very much. Here you, 1 minute please. Here you will see, this is the learning moment. We are, the cache is full over here. All the blocks of cache memory are full, means 4 blocks are there and all the 4 blocks has been full over here. Now this required E, the cache memory required E block, but this E was not present, and we required E into the cache memory. Any one of the block which was already stored into the cache memory have to be replaced. So which one will be replaced? The first in, first out will be replaced. The content, the block which is in first will be replaced. So here we will replace the content. Which one is the first one? We can see over here. From here we will see we have to replace, we have to store E, and which one is to be replaced? B will be replaced because from here D, A, C, B. So which one is come first? B was there first in. Why I'm not replacing the A? Because you will say the A will come first, but it was referenced over here, so it will not being replaced. The B was first in. We will say first in. However, you can say the A was the first in, but A was used over here, so we can't say A was first in. In this series, B was first in. So the B will be replaced, and similarly the complete process will be done. This is the next algorithm. This is called least recent use. In the least recent use, what is the meaning? Least recent use, which is which was least recently used algorithm, means which block was least recently used will be replaced over here. So same example is there. CPU required block A cache memory was blank, A has been put into the cache. It required B has been put, the miss was there, cache miss was there, so B was put into the cache memory. C, it didn't find C into the cache memory, so C was put into the cache memory over here. After this, A was being required, so all A was already there, so it was called as a cache hit, and we will working with that particular. So no need to store again because A was already present. Now D is being required, one block is there empty, so no need to replacement, and we will store. However, it was a miss because D was not present here. So D will be stored into cache memory, and D will this processor will work with the data D on the main memory over here, and by this way we are working with this particular status of the cache memory. Now this is the learning curve. Here you have to learn the complete learning of LRU will comes with this particular block and this information. Now the requirement of E is there in the when it is being the block is being required. So all what are the contents, what are the blocks already available? D is there, A is there, C is there, and B is there. And what is being required? The block E is required. So which block will be replaced? The block which has been least recently used, means जिसका यूज अभी नहीं हुआ है, अपने लास्ट पास्ट में जिसका कम से कम यूज हुआ है, that block will be replaced. So from here we will see we have to store E, so we will go back. D was used, A was used, and C was used. Which was not used? B was not used in the past in the descending order. D was used, A was used, C was used, but B was not used. So the B will be replaced. This B will be replaced and E will be stored over here. So this is the way we are working with first in, first out. We are working with least recent use replacement algorithms. So I hope you understood all the algorithms, all the content, all the process of this working. I feel you have learned and you will enjoy learning with by this way of video lectures. I will give you a brief introduction about the virtual memory and other in the next lecture. Thank you. These are the some of the references which I am using. You may also use this type of references, or you can also use some website, or you can use some data from the internet. Thanks.